All right. Hello, everyone. I'm John.
And I'm Becca. And so we're actually going to try to recreate something that we did on our way back from the Villages, Florida. So those of you who've been following our channel know we've shared about our lifestyle visit down there. And so as we were leaving and driving back to Kentucky, John decided that we should do a rapid fire question and answer session about the Villages to get our immediate responses. Well, unfortunately, we had packed our little microphones and the road noise was quite significant.
Right. And I mean, actually, the audio was even worse than that because I'd taken the camera and leaned it against the screen in the car. And it was like squeaking or something the whole time against the screen. Yeah, so it was terrible.
It was not good. We had to check that one. So this is weeks later. And we haven't really looked at these questions or thought about them or anything. So I feel like you're still going to get kind of our gut response.
I did review the questions. So
I have not.
So what you're missing out on is some of our initial reaction. But we are still just as excited about the Villages as we were then, if not more excited. We've watched a lot of content.
And we've already booked another trip.
Right. All right, first question. These are the top 10 questions people have about the Villages, Florida. What are the age requirements to live there?
It is a 55 plus community, meaning the majority of households that live there have to have someone who's 55 or older. But there are some exceptions. We've talked about this in a video before.
It's not just the majority, it's 80% have to have somebody that's 55 or older. So
you can tell who the accountant is. Math matters.
Right. We could have moved there 5 years ago. We could have moved there 10 years ago. I just turned 55. That's when we started looking at it. But in reality, we could have moved sooner.
But there is a minimum age limit.
There is. You have to be at least 19. For instance, I talked to a sales rep for the new homes there, and I was asking her if she lived there. And she used to live in the Villages, and then she had to move to Middleton because they had a child, and they had to leave the Villages because they had somebody under 19.
Sad.
It would be
not sad that they had a child, but sad that they had to leave the Villages.
But I guess since we're on Middleton, that's a family community by the same developers as the Villages. And, I mean, for the most part, it looks like the Villages. You know, it has fewer bells and whistles and fewer amenities, but kind of the same idea.
Yes, but much smaller scale.
How much does it cost to live there?
This is more his department, but I was surprised because we have off and on looked at Florida real estate mainly on the coast for several years now. We've had a couple of different realtors help us. We were thinking about getting a coastal home, and the prices and the insurance for those homes and condos kind of scared us off. So I had just kind of painted Florida with a broad brush, thinking that it was just maybe out of our price range, especially because we weren't initially planning to live there full time. It was more of a second home situation. So I thought it was going to be less affordable than it actually seems to be.
Right. I mean, that's kind of a tricky question, and we're going to do a whole video on the cost. Yeah, I'll probably make her do it because it'll be kind of dry if I just do it because it'll just be a bunch of numbers and stuff, and she'll at least smile and look pretty or something. But one thing people always ask about is the HOA fees. There's really no HOA fee because there's truly not a HOA, but there are a bunch of rules kind of like a HOA. And there is what's called an amenity fee. Every household has to pay the amenity fee. No
but
questions
it's per
asked.
Household, not per person.
It's $199 a month right now. It does go up. Some people seem bothered that it goes up, but I mean, if you look at what it's paying for all the recreation centers. I mean, that's just a fact of life. Things go up. So I think it's kind of crazy when I see people saying on videos that they need to cap the price. Because, I mean...
You're going to cap the quality.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to make it where you have fewer recreation centers per capita. You're going to make it where the recreation centers, instead of all looking pristine, look like they need to be painted. It doesn't make sense to think realistically that something like that could be capped. So, to me...
And fun fact, we live in a condo here in Lexington, and our monthly condo fee is higher than the amenity fee there.
That is. Here it's in two parts. And I forget what the combined total is, but when I do the cost breakdown video, I'm going to get into that. But yeah, it's over $200. All we have here is a pool and a little gym, a little pool and a little gym.
There's a little clubhouse.
Yeah, but you have to pay to use it. So
you have to pay to reserve it. You can use it. There's a pool table and
free coffee.
Free coffee and
shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard.
Yeah.
So there are some things, but if you wanted to reserve it where you have the exclusive use, it was pretty expensive too.
It is, yeah.
A couple $100.
Yeah.
So, our perspective is it's a much better value for the amenity fees down there because you get the golf, the executive golf, you get the multiple swimming pools, you get the rec singers, the bocce ball, the tennis courts, the pickleball courts. You get so much more for the money, and the landscaping, pristine.
You'd call me frugal, would you not?
Yes.
So I'm a CPA, and so I am pretty frugal by nature. But I mean, after getting down there and seeing what's encompassed in the $200 per month, I mean, it's hard for me to argue that it shouldn't be more, right?
Maybe we'll edit that
The
out.
villages don't watch this. That part's a bargain, or a good value, I guess I'll call it. Like anything else, it depends on how well you utilize the things. But if you're using the pickleball, you're using the cart pass.
If you play golf,
Yeah, if you play golf, I mean,
I don't know where you would
yeah,
live.
I mean that's where the
a better value.
right. That's where the frugality in me kicks in. Like I'm probably going to insist that we take up golf simply because we're paying for it.
Get more value.
Right. Let's talk a little bit more about the cost. When you see the crazy cost for insurance in Florida, from what I've seen, and I've watched multiple people's videos, and I've compared it to ours, the insurance does not seem to be a lot more expensive.
It's definitely different than when we were looking at coastal regions.
Oh yeah, very different. They seem to be a little more picky on the age of the roof.
It's an insurability issue there.
Right.
They just require newer roofs.
That's not so much a cost thing. It's either we're going to cover you the roof you have, or else you got to get a new roof before.
And just to kind of go back to the history and the foundation of the villages, the founders wanted to create a place where the average American could retire, not a multimillionaire, not an overly wealthy person, but just the average American could retire and play golf and enjoy year-round good weather. Like that was the vision. So they've tried to work really hard, I think, to keep it affordable. And if you really want to keep the cost down, the villages, like on a map, stretches really far north to south, and the northern end is the older area. There are actually some manufactured homes because that's how it started up in the northern area. And there are some other reasons why the homes up there are more affordable.
He wanted everybody to be able to live like a millionaire without having to be a millionaire. I mean, what would you say the number one profession was of the people we talked to that were already living there?
We met a lot of retired educators.
You don't think of retired teachers as being the ultra wealthy. So, I mean, that's just to demonstrate that it is accessible by most people if they set their mind to it. The homes start in the probably mid 200s, yeah.
Which, I mean, if you're watching this and you haven't watched a lot of content, you might have just like rewound to hear that because what?
Yeah, they start in the mid 200s. I mean, there's some that go up over $1 million, so it's like any place else where there's a vast array. It doesn't matter how nice a home you have access to those same amenities.
Whether you're in a manufactured home that hasn't been updated since the 80s, or you're in a brand new multi-million-dollar custom design home.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if you just wanted to get down there as cheaply as possible, you could look for a house to go for sale that's still in the original part that was manufactured homes, and there's some of those that are in the hundreds.
So it's possible.
Right. How big is the Villages?
It's huge, overwhelmingly huge.
It is.
Isn't it bigger than the size of Manhattan?
In square miles, yes. I think it's like, I mean, you see various things because it's growing very quickly. They seem to build about 300 houses a month. They have a lot of land. It seems like it's about 97 square miles. It's long and skinny. Like it kind of goes down the middle of Florida.
From Ocala down to Orlando.
Yeah, basically. So, and it's in the middle. And that's part of the reason the insurances are
more
affordable. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's big.
But it's big, and they've got miles and miles of golf cart, what they call multimodal paths, which are for walkers, bicyclists, and golf carts, but not actual cars.
How many people live there?
I'm not a numbers person.
I mean,
Like 100,000?
I think it's closer to 150 now.
Maybe it's 80,000 houses.
Yeah, I think it's about 80,000 houses, about 150,000 people. We were there in the summer, so we were there in July. And it didn't seem overly crowded to us. We're in the new part, so it's kind of hard to tell how many houses were occupied because most of the houses were people like us that were just on a lifestyle visit. They say it's a lot more crowded in the winter.
Which is why,
right.
When we booked our next lifestyle visit, we did book to be down there in snowbird season because people kept telling us, you've got to come back. They talked about how great the weather is in the winter because we were there in the hot and humid summer.
Yeah.
But they said you also need to gauge how different it is as far as waiting for restaurants or the squares, but I thought the squares were very busy at night for the live entertainment.
Even with it being summer in the slow season and hot. I mean, it was 90 to 95 every day we were there.
And high humidity.
Yeah, it was good. So Becca loves dancing, and she knows that there has to be a critical mass of people before I'll dance with her. And so
he's not going to be the first one out there.
Right, and so I was like, yeah.
Second or the third.
Yeah, I was like, you'll be lucky to get me out there in the summer. But, I mean, you did. Later in the evening after it cooled off a little bit. When I say later in the evening, the squares only go from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that stereotype about old people in the Villages is true.
It's definitely a ghost town.
It is a hard stop at 9 o'clock.
There are some restaurants that stay open later, but by and large, 9 o'clock, the village is shut down.
Yeah. We are going in January, mid-January, and it'll be, I'm sure, more crowded, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yes, but as far as the size of it, it is really large. Like, we got lost a lot. If you've watched some of our videos, you know that. But there are some distinct areas, like up in the north, that's the Spanish Springs area, more of a Spanish flavor, much more established landscaping, trees and such like that. Gorgeous. But the golf paths aren't as ideally situated. You drive on the road with cars a lot. And then as you move further down, they were more intentional about putting in more multimodal paths. But the trade-off is the landscaping hasn't grown up as much. So not as much shade, doesn't seem as lush. Yeah. The reason they call it the villages is because each little neighborhood is named like a little village.
Yeah.
So you'll have the village of DeLuna, the village of Dabney, the village of Wellpoint. And altogether, it's the villages.
Yep. It's something to see. I mean, if you're just going to Orlando and you have any interest at all, you should just pass through. And
it'll take you a while. I think it would take you a full hour to drive from top to bottom.
Oh yeah, I'd say we at least
like in a car.
Well, I don't know.
If you meandered at all.
If you get as lost as we did, so you get stuck on those traffic circles. Got to go.
Lots of traffic circles, and they all don't seem to work the same way.
They don't.
Strange.
Yeah.
Okay. These are very rapid fire. I'm sorry. We'll go back. Come on.
Can I visit before deciding to move? No, you cannot. You have to buy sight unseen. Just throw your money to Florida and hope you get a nice house. Yes, of course you can visit before.
You can and should.
Yeah, you can and should. And I mean, we're visiting twice at least before we buy.
And a lot of people do recommend, because each little village kind of has its own personality. A lot of people recommend doing long-term rentals.
We're back. We had some technical difficulties.
Shocker. You can and should visit before you purchase down here. You can do a lifestyle visit through the villages. It's cheaper to do it during the summer. It's a really great bargain then. A little bit more to do it in January. February, I think, is the highest month.
Sounds right. When we did it before, we did it in July. It was $99, and that includes tax and everything.
$99 a night.
Right, $99 a night. You have to
stay a minimum of 4.
Yeah, 4 to 7 nights. We took our dog. It was extra $150 total for the week for our dog. And if it's 4 nights in us, it'll be $150. It's just a cleaning fee.
And you get a house that has a kitchen, laundry, all that.
At least 2 bedrooms.
At least 2 bedrooms. We ended up in a 3-bedroom, 2 bath. You have a use of a golf cart and 2 bicycles with helmets.
Right, and a lock.
And a lock for the bicycles.
And they give you all the gas you need for the
yes, if you were
cart.
to run out of the golf cart gas, they would bring it to you.
Right. So that was $99. Now when we go in January, it's going to be $179 a night. So quite a bit more expensive.
And I think in February it goes up to $199. But still, that's the price. It's not like you multiply $179 times 7. Right. That's your price. There's no taxes, resort fees, occupancy things, all that.
To us, before we want to buy, we want to see both seasons. So, in your first day, it comes with 2 rounds of golf.
But not your second stay.
Right.
So that's a question of debate online, whether you can go more than once on lifestyle visits. I don't think they have to let you. They want to know that you're somewhat serious about possibly purchasing, not just using it for a free vacation.
Right.
So the golf is included, 2 rounds the first time you come, not the subsequent trips.
Yeah. And there's no hard sale. Like the lady that we met with last time, she showed us around. We asked to see a few model homes. She showed us a few model homes. I think we saw her the first day or 2 because we were kind of getting the lay of the land, and then we didn't see her the rest of the time.
It was definitely directed by us.
Oh, yeah. It was very low key.
But there are websites like rentfromavillager.com or something like that. I'm not affiliated with them, but you can look for that. There are some that are listed on Airbnb and I'm sure there's some on VRBO.
How many golf courses are there?
I have no idea. 50?
Over 50.
Over 50.
And now we will name them. Reverse alphabetical order. Go. Yeah, I don't know. We didn't play any golf when we were down there. The ones that are called executive golf courses, so those are going to be at max par 4 per hole, and they're only 9 holes, but they're called executive courses. They're very nice. We saw lots of them. But they're free to play, with the exception of if you have a golf cart, there's a $4 cart fee. But you can pay annually. I don't remember what the cost is, but you can pay annually and not have to pay the $4 cart.
Right. So if you're a resident and you're wanting to golf all the time, you could do executive, and you could do multiple executive courses to get up to however many holes you want. But the par, whatever that is, would be limited.
If you're wanting to use your really big Bertha, then you're probably going to want to occasionally pay to play on a champion course.
And they have reduced rates for residents.
Which people seem to think were more than fair. It was complicated because it depends on what time you want to tee off and what time of year it is and stuff. But
yes, because when they're busier, it's more of a premium cost.
Right. But those are either 18 or even 27 hole courses, and of course have the appropriate number of par 5s and so forth. So anyway, it looks like a golfer's paradise to me. What activities and amenities are available for your $200 activity fee per house?
Probably the most used one, or the biggest benefit, is golf for a lot of people, like we just talked about. But you can use the pickleball courts, the tennis courts, the paddle courts, the shuffleboard, bocce ball, They have indoor rec where they have pool tables and indoor
Yeah, and it's all set up ready to go.
darts.
Like if you wanted to play cornhole, you don't have to set up your boards and measure 27 feet and find your bags and all that kind of stuff. You just go there. They have it set up.
They have equipment either that you check out at the front desk if you're doing indoor activity like the darts or pool tables. And then they have equipment huts for outdoor things, which they have like nice tennis rackets, nice paddleboard rackets. They have, baskets of balls. They have everything that you need. And it was all the one we went into, which I can try to go back and put a link to. Like we went into the equipment closet and it was so nice. They even had printed copies of the rules.
Yeah. It's all very organized. So
Very organized and clean.
if the recreation centers are open, then somebody is there working, so they can help you with any of that stuff too. Oh, and then all the clubs. Do we talk about the clubs? Mm-hmm. There's like
Over
3,000 to
4,000.
4,000. Yeah.
It's when we first started looking into the villages, they said over 3,000, and now we've heard it's inched up to or jumped up to over 4,000.
Yeah. So I don't know, how many there are, but there's a bunch. And there's pretty much anything you can think of, anything we could think of. Like we thought of some specific strategic board games that we'd like to play, and we looked those up, and there's clubs
There's
for
a
them.
group for that.
Yep. So,
Like if you've ever had a friend who does essential oils and she's always going, no, there's an oil for that. Well, there's a group for that.
yeah. And what they say is if there isn't one, then just start it. So.
Now, some of them do require additional charges
Right,
to
if
help
there's-
cover the cost of participation. Maybe if
Yeah.
it's an art one, or, for example, we did a video where John toured the woodworking club, and that's a yearly cost.
But it wasn't much. I mean, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't
I'll try
much.
to link to that video
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it wasn't much for what
You
was
got.
involved. Yeah, but then you had to pay for wood. Like if you want to make something out of mahogany, you had to get the mahogany.
One of the things that's very attractive to us about the villages is not just they have these opportunities and they have these facilities and they have the equipment. There are also a lot of people who are retired or sort of in that pre-retirement phase who have more time for recreational activities and who are more committed to doing active things.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're really looking forward to, because we don't want to just sink into our recliners and watch television. Like we want to go out and do things. And so it's going to be nice to be surrounded by a community of people
Yeah.
who also want to do activities.
If you like pickleball, then go back and find our video where we talked about pickleball. It was just 2 of us, so we didn't have 4 people to play. And all we did was look on the schedule. And every day that we were there seemed to be 2 places at certain times a day that fit with our schedule that we could go and play pickleball. Even though we just had 2 people, we just rotated in. And it was a very organized system.
And they don't make you feel awkward for not having like an
Yeah.
established group. Like everybody was just there to play and have fun.
Although you did have one little run-in with one lady.
Just a little more competitive than some.
Yeah, find that video. She calls her out by name. Let's see here.
Until he doesn't have his readers on.
Yeah. Is it a good place to retire?
It looks like a fantastic place to retire. Year-round sunshine,
Yeah.
beautiful, well-maintained, safe, great weather, lots of people around who want to do activities, and live music and dancing every night, 365 days a year.
Right, and not just one choice of that music. There's
Multiple locations.
there's basically 4 town squares, and each one of those has a live band 365.
I'm not sure esports started yet.
Yeah.
And the one is not technically a town square. But
All right, but the esport's going to open soon, so
there are a lot of opportunities.
yeah, we're looking at it as a good place to even be in semi-retirement, and then
Well, especially
stay there
from
for
an
retirement.
income tax perspective.
If we move from Kentucky to Florida, there's quite a significant income tax savings, state income tax savings.
And I know the governor's talking about trying to get rid of the property tax. Who knows
Yeah.
if that'll happen, but that's exciting. And they do offer homestead exemptions.
They do. If
Look
if
at
you're a
me
resident.
talking about the money.
Yeah, if you're a resident, then you can get a homestead exemption. Are children allowed to visit? Bum bum bum.
Yes.
How old do they have to be?
Just as young as you want them.
Yeah. So we've got one grandchild, and hopefully more down the road. And
He's under 2. He
Yeah.
can definitely come.
yeah, and I mean, not only can he come, but I don't know if he can do the camps because he's only 2, or he's not even 2. But soon he'll be able to do the camps, and so they have camps. A good
Activities for grandparents to do with their grandchildren.
Yeah, I don't know if they're year round, but they're a good part of the year at least. And yeah, so you like sign your kid up for camp, like it might be archery camp, and so then you go with your grandkid. I'm sorry, you go with the grandchild to archery camp and participate with them and
Yes.
stuff.
And
I mean,
they have pools that are designated family pools, so you can take your kids to those, or your grandkids. And one that we really liked was the one at Finney. It had a 0 entry area, lots of shade. They had a restaurant close by.
yeah,
So there are pools like that. But if you don't want to be surrounded by kids who jump in and out of the pool and maybe make a little more noise, they also have adult pools. And they
Right.
also have sports pools for those that really want to focus on water aerobics or water volleyball, like where you mean business.
Yeah, there are actually always plenty of kids around. Like every night we went to the town square, I did not see.
We
I always
saw
saw,
children.
yeah, right. We always saw children, and it was cool. Like we even talked about how sometimes it appeared that there were at least 3 generations in the town squares together.
Dancing and celebrating.
Yeah.
Just having a good time.
So
And we
that-
talked to a lot of people who said that when they moved to the villages, their grandkids asked to come visit them and didn't want to leave because they love the golf carts. They love
Right.
exploring new pools and new rec
I
center.
ran into your boob. Oh. Then what do we say?
I don't know. Okay, we've been married a long time.
Yeah.
Well, we get it. We're
Yeah.
talking about the villages. We
Yeah,
don't need
yeah.
to go into details with dates. But
And actually, we should probably do a video.
oh my gosh.
We've had the question several times of I've just got a few hours and I'll be close to the villages. What should I do? We should probably make a video specifically about
You
that.
all might not realize this, but he's notorious for saying that we're going to make a bunch of videos. I'm the one who edits videos, so I try to, if he says it, to eventually make sure we do it, but he likes to make a lot of promises.
Actually, you guys can help me out there. If there's other videos that you guys would like to see, like maybe in-depth look at the bond. The bond is a weird thing that we didn't even get into in the cost because it's complicated.
And
But
it's boring.
yeah, but it's bizarre. Like
And
I've
it's
never
not
seen.
fun.
I mean, we bought property.
So we were going to talk about
Yeah.
details.
Okay.
For